Tell you what, you could have the writing of Tommy Wiseau, you could have the storytelling of M. Night Shyamalan, you could develop characters like Michael Bay. As long as you've got good music, good cinematography, and good actors, there's a chance it'll get you right here. What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 7, The Wrong Side of Where You Are Now. Another meh one. It's another one mostly focused on the flashback, which, as I've already said, I'm kind of done with the flashbacks. They're stretching this story out so long, and I'm really hoping, because it seems like we're finally getting to the point where they lost the baseball field. And if that's the case, then I'm hoping that means next episode, the mid-season finale, we're finally going to see what happened. Finally going to find out everything that went down, how they lost to all of these walkers and how they got separated, what happened to everybody that was in the baseball field with them. I'm still on the fence about Madison. I mean, they have been severely hinting that she died in this whole thing. To me, says she's not dead, but then again, I'm not hearing her being referenced. I'm not seeing any sign that she's made it. So I don't know. It's very up in the air at the moment. Also, to be honest, I mean, whenever I go into Netflix, Fear the Walking Dead, she is the center picture alongside Morgan. So that's another thing that makes me think, I don't feel like she's gone, but I don't know. We'll see. But as far as the flashback in this one and all of the stuff building up to this, it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect. You know, we see Alicia, she freaks out on Naomi at the end of last episode, which I didn't talk about, but the fact that she just assumed, oh, she was working with them the whole time, once again, makes her and Strand and Luciana seem like the bad guys. They instantly start shooting just because, oh, Naomi betrayed us, she was working with them. You don't know. Like, she has very clearly shown she's willing to jump ship and join up with anybody that will keep her alive. So how do you know she didn't just see the opportunity and go, you know what, these people will keep me alive, I'll join them? Why does it have to be in your mind, oh, she was working with them and she betrayed us from the beginning? Because that's exactly what she thinks. And it was confirmed here when she asked Mel, how long was she with you? You don't know that she was with them, you dumbass. But that's why Alicia, Strand, Luciana, they are not the likable characters in this situation. And yet, these are the characters that we've been with, Alicia since the beginning of the first season, Strand and Luciana a little bit later, but these are the characters we've been following. These are the main characters we've been following. And yet they're assholes that assume they shoot first and ask questions later. That is not the type of character that I want to be rooting for in a survival show. But the other disconnect comes from, we see them see Mel. They start freaking out, and you could see by Alicia's reaction, especially when she killed him, there's that personal connection there. Of like, oh, you did this to us. But in the flashbacks, we're seeing that it was Ennis that was responsible. Like, Mel seemingly, unless something changes here, it seems like he did want to just be like, fine, we'll move on then. You guys think you can make it? You'll get proven wrong eventually, but we don't have the time to wait for that to happen now that you've got some more resources. So we're just going to move on. And we'll be back, probably. And we'll take what you have, because eventually this will fall apart. But then Ennis is the one that says, no, we're going to make it fall. We're going to actually take it down because we deserve what's in there. We want what's in there. And we have waited so long waiting for this to happen. So if it's not going to happen naturally, I'm going to make it happen. So Ennis is the problem. And yet there's still this personal, she's very clearly wanting to kill Mel for everything that happened. But what did Mel have to do with any of it? Like, they saved his life. They were even willing to let him stay and try to nurse him back to health. She and Nick went and saved him. So what did Mel have to do with any of this? This was all set up by Ennis. So unless Mel in this next episode just suddenly reveals, all part of my master plan. I went and got into a car crash on purpose and broke one of my ribs just to make you come and get me, so that way you guys would be outside whenever Ennis and his people showed up with all of the walkers. All part of my master plan. I'm thinking in 4D chess, guys. And if that is the case, then that's really, really dumb, because it makes no sense whatsoever. So more likely what happened here is, once again, Alicia is being an idiot. She's attributing everything that happened to Mel, even if he wasn't the one responsible, just because he's a part of this group, which doesn't make any sense. And the final thing to complain about, because most of the flashback was just sort of bland, like there wasn't anything stupid about it, just wasn't that interesting. But the final stupid thing in the episode was that final scene where Nick and Alicia show up. The ice cream truck is already there and has poured out the oil. And I can understand them staying out there at that point, because even though there's nobody else around, you don't know what might happen if you try to drive past the ice cream truck. You don't know what they're going to do to your car. However, once all of the trucks show up and they start letting walkers out, that's the point where you go, you know what, we're just going to drive away now. Maybe we'll draw some walkers with us as well, but we'll drive out of here and we'll stay connected on the walkie-talkie. You guys see if you can fight this horde off. And then once everything's safe, then we'll come back. Once it's clear, then we'll come back. But to just sit there as the walkers slowly surround your car, what idiot would do that in that situation? If I were the actor or actress playing Nick and Alicia, I would have looked at the director and gone, you're not seriously just having our characters sit here in the car while the walkers slowly surround us. You're not actually having us do that. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in any survival show. What's the point? At least show them try to drive away and then maybe one of the trucks gets in their way and blocks them off, or maybe the trucks surround them to the point where they can't go anywhere, or maybe they shoot out their tire. Make them do something to keep them from driving away. But as it is, they just sit there because they're dumbasses. They just sit there and let the walkers surround the car, and now they're in danger. Now they can't drive anywhere. There's too many walkers, we can't go anywhere. You could have for the past 5 minutes. It's so dumb. It is ridiculous. I don't know if it's the writing team, I don't know if it's the director, I don't know who made that decision, but have a reason why they couldn't drive away. Because them just sitting there, they're idiots. But like I said, outside of that, everything else is just sort of bland. It is kind of funny to me that they are building up this whole, like, Ennis has been gathering all these walkers, they show all the flags and all the numbers, and all I can think is, okay, and we've already seen these walkers are not dangerous if you're a main character, so why are they scared? I feel like you could have put 10,000 on one of those flags and they would have just been like, okay, we can handle that. We're fine. These walkers aren't deadly. But the one thing I will say that did stand out as a good moment in this episode, and it's funny because I actually did look it up to see when this season came out versus when The Last of Us 2 came out, just because the whole being at a baseball field. I can't remember where Abby and her group were in The Last of Us 2, but I remember it being some sort of stadium, I'm pretty sure. And they had like the box seats and all of that they were able to stay in. So I kind of wondered whether or not they borrowed that from Last of Us 2 or vice versa. And Last of Us 2 actually did come out after this season. So if they did borrow it, Last of Us 2 is the one that did it. Spoilers for The Last of Us 2. If for some reason you don't know, after all the online controversy, and now the show apparently doing the same thing, part of the story of The Last of Us 2 is the idea that the cycle of revenge only kills people. It only hurts people. And you have to break that cycle at some point, or else it's just going to continue. And it's just going to continue to get people around you killed. That's the whole point of the story. That's what a lot of people miss, and why so many people rag on the game and the show, despite the fact that part of the big controversial moment, it fits into the story. It works for the story, and it leads to a really nice moment at the end. Here, we have kind of a similar moment where Morgan brings Charlie into the truck. Even though she killed Nick, in his mind, and he even says it has to stop somewhere. And I think that's such a nice moment, and again, paints him and John and Al seemingly all as the good guys of this story, while Alicia, Strand, and Luciana are all trying to shoot at them, which in my mind makes them the bad guys. The thing is, I don't know if they're going to talk about this. Still don't know if Charlie actually saw what happened with Ennis. You could argue that if she did see Nick kill Ennis, that's what caused her to shoot Nick. Because whether or not she was close with Ennis, I don't fully know. Seems like they might have been close. But if that's what happened, then what Morgan's doing is a good thing. It's breaking that cycle. If he just killed Charlie, then somebody would come after him probably for killing Charlie. Maybe there's, obviously Mel's not around anymore, so he couldn't do it. But if there are other people in their group that were close with Charlie, well, then they might come after him. Like, that's the whole point. And that's what Morgan's point is. It has to stop somewhere. So I think it's a great decision, and it shows, once again, Morgan's a great character. So hopefully they can save John, because he's also a great character, and I'm enjoying having him on the show. Obviously, they're not at the baseball field. Seems like all the walkers that got in, as they said, they were covered in oil, so now they're all charred, and they're attacking the truck. But I don't know where it's going to go from here. I don't know exactly. I don't know whether they're going to clear out all these walkers, maybe try to find a way to salvage the baseball stadium. I don't know exactly what the next steps for the story is going to be. But my God, I hope we're done with the flashbacks after next episode. I hope we finally see what happened at the baseball field and how it all went down. Finally find out what happened to Maddie, hopefully. Finally find out how Naomi ended up with the Vultures. And then we move on, we continue this story. I don't know if it's going to become a story of Morgan trying to protect this child from the 3 other main characters that are trying to kill her, But I want the story to improve from here because I'm just so sick of jumping back into the flashback almost every episode. It's getting old real fast. But anyways, with all that being said, on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And now episode 8, No One's Gone. Decent episode. And a lot of it just comes down to, first of all, Morgan's great. He's a fantastic addition to the show. He is going to make this show watchable for me, is really what's happening right now. And that whole scene between him and Alicia, as pissed off as I was at Alicia, because even though she just watched this tape of her mom basically saying she didn't want her kids to lose themselves, and she still just goes in there like, nope, I'm going to lose myself. I'm going to kill this woman. Even in spite of that, his words to her, so brilliantly handled. And Lenny James is just killing it with his performance. You would think jumping from one show to another as the same character, and probably I would assume that this is filmed in a different location than The Walking Dead is. I think. Could be wrong about that. So who knows? He may have had to move across the country. Like if it actually is filmed in California instead of it in Georgia. But he's still bringing his A game. I mean, these scenes are so good. And the end, even though I'm not huge on it, because there are still a lot of problems with this. And again, Madison is, like she is, when you go into Netflix, she's one of the main characters alongside Morgan. So unless that's supposed to be like she was the main character for the first few seasons and now Morgan's stepping in, he's going to be the main character, there's a chance she could have made it out of this. I don't know how. I guess you could argue, well, she tossed the flare, it set all those walkers alight, they all got distracted by the fire, and that gave her the ability to get out of there, maybe. All of these issues, the fact that Nick and Alicia got themselves caught up in the car unnecessarily, which forced Madison and Strand and Luciana to come out and help them unnecessarily, which then set up for this whole situation where everybody's fleeing. Like, all of that's dumb, but it's well shot. It's well acted. The music is very appropriate for the scene. I didn't feel it, but I still kind of felt a little bit of emotion for it because it's a well done scene. I don't care about these characters. I think they're idiots, but I still felt myself a little touched, I suppose, by the whole thing. It's down to the actors doing their jobs well. It's down to the camera people, cinematography people, whatever you want to call it. They shot the scene really well. It looked really, really good. And then the composer, whoever did the music for it, it fit the scene and it brought the emotion in. So yeah, a lot of this was really well handled. It's a very good, I'm pretty sure this would have been the mid-season finale. It sets up for the second half of the season decently well. I don't know exactly what the plan is from here. I guess this little group of misfits, I guess if you want to call them that, they're probably going to be looking for their next place to stay. They're probably going to be looking for a place to try to survive in, because all the vultures seemingly are gone now. I still do feel like the whole issue with Mel is a little weird. I think that's something that wasn't really focused on. You could make the argument that in him saving Charlie and driving away, Alicia took that to be like, oh, this was all part of their plan. Like, he took the car from us so we didn't have a way out, but he was doing it to save Charlie's life. But I will also say for Mel, it's kind of weird that he just saved her and went right back to the vultures, despite the fact that Ennis clearly betrayed what he was trying to do. It seems like his whole thing was, we are going to let them lose everything, and then we step in and we pick what's left. That's why we're the vultures. And his brother Ennis is just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set all these walkers on these people because I want this stuff now. I don't want to wait. And I feel like that would cause him to go, okay, well, you're a dumbass. That's not what we're going to do. And especially since it got him in the car wreck, it put Charlie in danger, and he seemed to really care about her. I don't know if they were brother and sister. It's still kind of unclear. But you would think he wouldn't just go right back to the vultures, and yet he was. He did. So I don't know. There's still a lot of questions. There's also the question of, why did Charlie shoot Nick? Did she really care about Ennis that much that him killing Ennis is enough for her to shoot him? We still don't really have that information because Nick was just sitting on a porch. It's not like he was doing anything to try to harm her. But it does feel like the flashbacks are finally done. You know, we had another flashback where we see Madison shortly after the events of the end of last season meeting up with Al. I'm assuming we probably still will get a little bit more of a flashback at some point, maybe building up the baseball stadium, possibly. But I thought it all tied in fairly nicely together, and I'm glad to be done with the flashbacks, hopefully. God, if they still flashback more after this, I'm going to lose my mind. But all in all, it's a fairly solid episode. There's not much else to say outside of that, so those are my thoughts on these two episodes. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these two? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Fear the Walking Dead reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of other reviews on here as well as some Let's Plays, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.